Hey everyone, it's Alicia and welcome back to my channel, Palpable Pages. Today I wanted to talk about this book, The House Across the Lake. It's by Riley Sager, and this book has gotten a lot of attention. It has a lot of authors commenting on the back of this book here, and they're giving it praise, saying it's a phenomenal read. The author of The Silent Patient, that book has been everywhere. I've seen everyone at work reading that book, and that person gave this book a shout out. And the last thing he told me, and the author of the book of Cold Cases have all given this book really good reviews. It's on the Amazon bestseller list. And Riley Sager, he's new to me. I have 3 of his books now. Apparently he is someone who was an editor for a very long time. The company he worked for went under, and so he decided, I'm at this point in my life, I have nothing to lose, so I'm going to write a book, and if it does well, I'm going to live my dream, and if it doesn't do well, then I'm just going to go be a librarian. He writes a book, and it just does phenomenal, and that book is Final Girls, and this book even has a shout out on this front cover. I don't know if you can see it here, a shout out from Stephen King saying, if you liked Gone Girl, you'll like this. Stephen King. So, you know, obviously it's going to be worth the read if someone like one of the best one of the best authors of our time is going to give it a shout out and take the time to read it. So that was my initial urge to want to buy a Riley Sager book. Of the 3, I own Final Girls, Home Before Dark. I have not read these 2. I cannot wait. This one's going to be the one I read next. Just got the spooky vibes, paranormal. I can't wait to read this book. But then this book, I saw it at Barnes & Noble, and I saw it at Books A Million on display, and it was like $27. So I went and bought it on Amazon. It was so much cheaper on Amazon. Got it at 4 a.m. the next morning. And the minute it came in, just of the 3 books that I ordered on Amazon, this one came in first. So I read this one first, and I love this book. This book, it's got, you know, Cabin by the Lake vibes. I didn't know what it was going to be about when I first read it. I thought, by the lake, is it going to be like a Jason Voorhees book? Is it going to be mysterious? Is it going to be paranormal? Like, I have no idea what kind of book this even is. It's the first one that came in. I've been wanting to read a Riley Sager book for a long time, and I read it, and I love it, and he's a phenomenal writer. Like, I don't know why he didn't start writing sooner, why you had to lose your job before you started writing. Like, you can ask that question to anybody that doesn't do what they're supposed to be doing, their life's purpose, before they start doing it. But he's fantastic. I can't wait to read his other books just because this book was that good. Definitely have some palpable pages. It's very intense. There's scenes in the book where I'm just like, I can't put the book down. I'm just like flipping page after page after page, and I can't stop reading because I'm like, I have to know what happens. You know, the scene isn't over yet. And I like the way he sets up his books. It's set up to where it goes from before, and you get like before and then now, before, now, and gosh, let me find a now. Yeah, here's a now. And so it's not just one chapter that goes back and forth. It's like you'll get a big chunk of chapters through a scene for before, and then you'll get a little glimpse of now, before, now. And it starts out with now, and so you get this scene where she's like doing something. The main character, Casey Fletcher, is doing like something absolutely terrifying. I'm like, what are you doing? And like, it draws you into the book, so he knew what he was doing. And then it goes back to before, to where it's like kind of slowly giving you that build up in the background of the characters. And this book essentially is about Casey Fletcher. Casey Fletcher is someone that's famous that doesn't want to be famous. Her mom is Lolly Fletcher, who's like old Hollywood glam movie star, and she's retired now, and she's kind of given Casey the push to be in the acting field for a very long time. Casey's been resentful, doesn't want anything to do with it, doesn't want to be in the spotlight. She's a little bit more introverted and reserved, and Casey, she kind of goes out on her own and tries to lead her own life, and then naturally she gravitated towards the acting field on her own accord. So she gets to do what she likes to do. She does enjoy acting, but she doesn't want to be in the spotlight. So she is married to a man named Lynn, and Lynn, her husband, is described as being very attentive and loving. He's her best friend in the world. They have a wonderful relationship together. But then this big traumatic event happens, and her whole world is turned upside down. And now she's kind of an alcoholic, and her drink of choice happens to be bourbon. And she just kind of drains her sorrows drinking bourbon, and she hasn't really grappled with the new reality that is her life now. And so at first she's drinking in quiet when no one knows about it, until it takes a toll on her life, until she's like going on stage and drunk, and she can't hide it anymore. And so she's getting all this bad press, and she's being heavily judged in the media. So she retreats to this lake house, and this isn't her house, this is her neighbor's house, but I'm pretty sure. So she goes to her lake house. The lake house has been in her family for a very long time. She has childhood memories in this lake house. It's very rustic, described with like a deer head on the wall, and like just kind of rustic cabin by the lake, how it should look, how you would imagine a cabin by the lake would look. It's not a cabin, it's a big house. It just like would look how the inside of a cabin would look, is how it's described in the book. So kind of cozy, and I like the whole, the feel, the descriptive nature of her little life there. She goes away just to be secluded and just get away, and that's exactly what she does. But then she gets herself caught up into this big mystery in her retreat. And so this lake house is on a small part of the lake where there's only 5 other houses, or there's 5 houses total. And so there's her house, and then there is Eli's house. Eli is an older man who's retired, and he has made the lake house his full-time residence. There's another couple that visits maybe one time a year, so it's truly just their vacation home only, and they're never home. And then there's another older retired couple who has a carpenter that's like helping them fix up their lake house. And then the 5th house is her new neighbors, which is this house, which is the cabin, or the lake house, the house across the lake. So this house, if you can see it, is all glass. It's windows, solid windows across the whole front. Like every single floor has windows, so you don't even need binoculars to look in the house. But so Casey Fletcher, she's sitting on her porch, just drinking her sorrows away, drinking the bourbon, and throwing it back when she sees binoculars sitting beside her. The binoculars happen to be her husband Lynn's binoculars. He was a bird watcher, and so they're very high tech, and she just picks them up in this drunken state she's in, just being nosy, spying on these new neighbors, just because the neighbors happen to also be famous. So it's a very uppity little cul-de-sac here on the lake. And so the neighbors are Tom and Catherine Royce, and Catherine is a supermodel, or like the Gisele Bündchen of our time, if I may be saying that correctly. But she's like a retired supermodel, and she's married to Tom, and Tom is like MySpace Tom, if anybody remembers MySpace. So Tom, he is someone that has made himself very wealthy because of his social media platform, his tech company that he owns. And so, yeah, of course, Casey, when these people move in, she's going to be naturally curious about this couple across the lake who has everything on display already. So she picks up the binoculars, and then she's seeing some questionable things, and she's getting like intrigued and invested into these neighbors. And all of a sudden, she, by proximity, like her and Catherine become friends, and there's this big event that happens, and then you're like, suspenseful writing, you're invested. And I like the way, even though you're just like through the beginning of the book, you're just listening to, or like you're just reading Casey Fletcher's thoughts. But Riley Sager does a fantastic job, like getting in the female psyche and like writing down her thoughts, like all the questions that happen in her mind, how her mind goes from here to here to here. And that's how a female brain works to me. I mean, I don't know. He does a great job being a male describing a female perspective on something. So I like the characters he picked out, but Catherine, I like Catherine and Casey's relationship together, their friendship. I like that he describes a female friendship pretty well, but also all of a sudden Catherine goes missing, and that's pretty much what the book is about. Catherine is someone that, like, she knows so many people. She's very well connected. Obviously, she's a supermodel. So there could be very, very many different things that could have happened. And It could be Eli, who's been there forever, that's like on the lake. It could be this new carpenter that popped up just a few months ago. It could be her husband, Tom. It could be any one of her fans or stalkers that she may have had since she is in the public eye. So Casey's so invested now, obviously, because she's now friends with Catherine, and she can't pull herself away from this mystery of what happened to Catherine. And it's, of course, because she's a celebrity, it's all over the media. Like, everyone's like keeping a close eye on all of them now. And so enter in Wilma, who is a detective. And Wilma is there and just, of course, trying to solve the crime. But I like the kind of relationship that Wilma and Casey have together. When I read the book, I couldn't, like, I'm a very visual person. I have to, like, imagine what the characters look like in my mind and, like, imagine it all happening for real. And so Wilma, to me, if you've seen Yellowstone, Yellowstone is I just watched it a few weeks ago, and Yellowstone, there's an episode where this new character enters in and she gets to fire Beth Dutton, and that is the person that I have imagining playing Wilma the detective, because she's very stoic and expressive, and she's a no-BS kind of person that's not scared easily or intimidated very easily. And so I just, maybe that's why, because this person, Karen Pittman, she does a fantastic job, and I think that she would be fantastic at being Wilma. Karen Pittman, I think she's really pretty. I think I like her style. I like that she could pull off that detective character and that very assertive female character. I imagine Casey as being Sandra Bullock. I can't see her as anyone else as Sandra Bullock. Casey, she's someone that could be glamorous and beautiful, but also a hot mess. She's described in the book at her lake house, and her downtime is just wearing flannel, like a black and red flannel shirt with jeans and Adidas shoes, and her hair is just down in a mess, and she's just like, you know, I can see Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock's done so many things. She's done Practical Magic, where she's like just in shorts and a t-shirt and looks absolutely beautiful with her hair all big and messy. And then I love Sandra Bullock. You can see her in Premonition playing like the crazy person who like has, you know, like this urge that something is wrong, but there's no reason to feel that way other than just how like she's going off her gut instincts only when everything else is fine and people think she's crazy. And she plays the crazy part very well, but also she plays in like The Blind Side and Miss Congeniality, where she's dressed up a little bit. So she can do both so well, and she's so beautiful. I love Sandra Bullock. She's like one of the best actresses ever, I think. But I can't see Casey Fletcher as anyone other than Sandra Bullock, and then Wilma as Karen. But then Catherine's character, she's described as someone who's obviously, she's a supermodel, so she's slender and tall and glamorous and blonde and green eyes and pretty. And I'm rewatching Criminal Minds right now because the new season just came out. So I feel like that's probably why Meredith Monroe is at the forefront of my brain for her character. Meredith Monroe, I think she's gorgeous, and she's Hotch's wife on Criminal Minds, if you don't know who that is. And she has blonde hair. She's tall and slender, petite, got that same kind of build that a model would probably have. And so these three women, Sandra Bullock, Karen, and Meredith Monroe, like I feel like these three women, like they really make this story come to life. I like the dynamic between the three. I like the, more than anything, the descriptive writing in this book. Like he at one point describes the lake as like this dark force, like she feels like when she's in the lake, like you're being put in a coffin, and like a coffin lid being closed, and you have that little crack of light that you can see from the surface. And he's very descriptive at writing. He's very good at writing like the female psyche from all three female perspectives in this book. I like the dynamic. I like that it's thrilling. I like the storyline, how it has so many plot twists. 3/4 into the book, it's no longer just a mystery, and I'm like, I would give this a completely different category. It's not even just mystery thriller anymore. I'm like, at this point, I don't even know how to categorize this book. Like, there's something really big that happens, and I'm just like, what? Like, I didn't see it going there at all. there's another plot twist and then another plot twist, and I'm like, it's a page turner. I couldn't put it down. I read this book in like a day and a half because I had to like work and do other things, but I read this book in like a day and a half. It's phenomenal. Yeah, it's a page turner. This is my first Riley Sager book of many. I can't wait to read all of them. The next one I'm going to read Home Before Dark. If I haven't said that already, I can't wait to read this book. It's supposed to be like, people have described this one as like The Conjuring meets medieval horror, and I can't wait to see what that reads like. I'm going to read it when I'm at home alone, hopefully. But yes, if you have not read this book, invest time in this. It has some palpable pages, some very good imagery, very detailed. You get invested into the characters, and you care about the characters, and then at the very end, I love the ending. I like how the book ends, and it's something that I would like. The decisions that she makes, like things that I would totally like. I agree, I would do that too. But also like she being an alcoholic is like the only sane one in the book, because everyone else is like sweeping things under the rug, is saying like, you're crazy, this isn't happening, and no one's listening to her, and she plays that part very well, being the alcoholic that nobody's listening to. But she's also, while being alcoholic, the only sane person, because I feel like she played that character in Premonition very well, and she's doing it very well in this book. Like, I mean, Sandra Bullock, she could do that very well in this book. She did, in my mind. She was doing it. The whole book was Sandra Bullock to me. It was Casey Fletcher. I'm like, so yes. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next book review. I have so many that I have read and not done a review on. I just finished this book. I still need to do book reviews for all my Colleen Hoover books that I've read. Not to mention, I wanted to do a January video, but I think we're way past that now. Yes, stay tuned for more book reviews, and thank you for coming to my channel, Palpable Pages. Bye.